Hey, what's up everybody, Stan35 here, bringing you guys a new video for once in a pretty long while. I'm going to be bringing you guys another pickups video for the months of January and February. Been a while since I've done one of these, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it with the first game. That first game being this game called D for the original PlayStation. Solving the mystery means visiting the dark pit of your soul. This is like a FMV type horror game. I found out about this game like years ago. I can't remember exactly when, I heard about this game or found out about it or whatever, but yeah, I found out about this game years ago. And the reason why I was wanting to play is because one, it looked kind of interesting, and two, the person that made this game is a pretty interesting person too. His name is Kenji Eno. I'd recommend looking up some stuff about this guy. This guy was like freaking nuts, man. He has a couple other games in this little like mini kind of series thing. This is like the first one. The other one is called D2. That's on the Dreamcast. I found out about D2 first on the Dreamcast. I always wanted to play that too. And then he has a game called Enemy Zero on the Sega Saturn. And one of the reasons why the person that made this, Kenji Eno, is just like freaking, that is a pretty interesting person. He's done some like crazy stuff with the development of this game. Like, as you may notice, this game is it's a pretty violent game. It has blood and stuff and all that, and various other things like that. It's a pretty violent game actually, but you see it only has a teen rating. Really, this game should have an M rating because of like the stuff that's in it, but the reason why it's only a T rating is because the guy that made this, like I said, his name was Kenji Eno. The guy that made this, he what he did was, there's this thing that back then, when you make the game, you send the final disc in to be printed or whatever, so it can be a mass distributed and all that. And what Kenji Eno did, he had made some cutscenes in this game that he inserted in the game as like flashbacks. So you have to like find, I think they're butterflies, you find the butterflies, and there's like flashbacks that have some pretty graphic stuff in it. And what he did was, if you were supposed to, you just mail in the master disc, I suppose, and they'll like reprint it and to make the game to mass produce it and sell it and stuff. Normally you send it in, but what Kenji Eno did, since he wanted to like hide the cutscenes and try to sneak them into the game later on, he intentionally did not submit the game on time. So that way, so when you don't submit the game on time to be printed, you have to like fly over to wherever the thing is, personally deliver it yourself there. So what he did was, he like intentionally just didn't submit the game on time to be printed. And when he was on his way over to, have the game printed, since he had to hand it in himself, then he switched the games out. He had a copy that didn't have the cutscenes in it, which is like the regular, T rating. And then on his flight over there, he switched around like the disc and had the version of the game that had the cutscenes and all the extra graphic stuff in it. So it's like the most violent T-rated game. It should be an M rating, but it's just T-rated. That's just one of the many crazy things that Kenji Eno's done. And then when Sony found out about this, they got mad at him, since he switched out and gave him like a more M-rated version of the game when it was supposed to be T-rated. So Sony got kind of mad at him about that, and they kind of shorted him the number of copies that were supposed to be produced or whatever. So it's like not as many copies as were supposed to be produced were made. So they kind of shorted him on that because they got mad at him doing that. Then like some years later, during like the whatever E3, I can't remember, but whatever E3 back then, Kenji Eno got pissed off at Sony for doing that to him. So what he did was, when he had his trailer for the next game, Enemy Zero, it showed the PlayStation. Apparently, it showed the PlayStation logo on the screen, but it slowly morphed. He made it to where the PlayStation logo slowly morphed into the Sega Saturn logo, and said that Enemy Zero was an exclusive to the Sega Saturn, would be coming to the PlayStation 1 because of that. Freaking wild. On the one hand, it's funny that happened, but on the other hand, it kind of sucks because, like now, if I wanted to play Enemy Zero, I'd have to get a freaking Saturn and pay like $100 or whatever for that game, instead of just being able to play it on the PlayStation for it probably would be a bit cheaper than what it goes for now. You don't have to buy a whole other system for it, but Yeah, like I said, I might, if I remember to, I might leave a link to the video in the description about Kenji Eno. He's a pretty interesting guy. I would really recommend, you know, looking up stuff about him and all that. I just had like this weird kind of mini obsession with like him and his games the past couple years, and I finally have one of them. I wouldn't mind playing some of his other games, but enough rambling about that. Here's the discs for the game. It's a 3-disc game. The discs are in pretty good shape too, for what I remember. I just don't feel like taking them all out because I have to cram them back in and stuff. And the manual's in good shape as well. Yeah, this is a pretty strange FMV style horror game. I like the look of it and the aesthetic and all that. So I'm like, you know what? One of these days I really would like to own this game and play it. Also, this game is pretty much on a time limit too. You have to beat it within the time limit or you get a game over, which is pretty nuts. And also, you have to beat it not only within the time limit, but in one sitting too. You cannot pause or save this game apparently, so it's like, Jesus. Kenji Eno was a wild man. But yeah, I'm glad to finally have this. Maybe one day I might see if I can get like a Dreamcast and play D2, because I found out about that one before any of these other games, and then, you know, I just kind of left a little rabbit hole of me, you know, find out stuff about this Kenji Eno guy and his company Warp and all that stuff. It's pretty interesting, but enough about that, and on to the next game. Alright, so next up here we have Blinks 2, Masters of Time and Space for the original Xbox. If you guys remember, I picked up the first Blinks, so now I'm happy I finally have the second Blinks game. So, you know, hopefully if I enjoy the first Blinks game, I will be able to start on this one whenever. Start customize your characters. This one has customizable characters. That's pretty cool. I've heard of the Blinks games before, you know, like with Blinks 1. I think I even played like a little demo of it in the store one time, a long time ago when it was first coming out, back when, you know, you could walk into like Walmart or whatever and play demos of some of the games on there. I'm pretty sure I played a demo of Blinks 1. So I thought it was pretty cool, but I just never played the full game because it was only on Xbox, and I never had it in the original Xbox at the time. So, but now, better late than never. That's why I like collecting. I can, you know, go back and try out some games I either saw a long time ago or just didn't know about, and try them out and see if I like them, or see, you know, what the game was about and all that, since I just missed out on them back then. So that's what I like about collecting a lot. Just, you know, finally have the ability to pick up some games I just, you know, wasn't aware of or didn't know much about or saw but couldn't get at the time. And now the hard part is just finding the time to play all of them. Next up on the list is this game called Remember Me for the PlayStation 3. I've seen this game before, like around when I think it was around when it came out. Kind of vaguely remember it. I remember it looking, like I said, it looked pretty interesting. I just one of those games I just never picked up at the time when it came out. And when I was looking up some PS3 games I was wanting to pick up, this was one of the ones I came across, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this game. It looked pretty cool, so I put it on my list. So from the gameplay I looked over, it looked like it would be pretty fun, so I'd pick it up and try it. Put it on the box. No manual, of course, because this was around the time manuals just became completely extinct, practically. This little foldable piece of paper that just has a bunch of writing on it nobody cares about. And then here's the disc itself, which looks nice. This looks good, so that's awesome. Just a few more PlayStation 3 games I'd like to get. I think I have like for, at least for what I'm aware of that I want, I think I have like maybe 10 or so more. Maybe I have to like check my list again, but there's not too many more PS3 games I would like to own, at least as I'm far, you know, aware of what research I've done. So that'd be pretty nice to have all the PS3 games I want finally. And next up on the list is a game I found out about for a while. I've kind of had my eye on, wanted to try it. Was a game called The Bouncer for the PlayStation 2. I couldn't get the stick. I'm gonna have to like completely replace this case. I hadn't tried this one. I couldn't get this sticker off, or like the freaking sticker on the front because there's like multiple stickers on there. There's this one, the one behind it, and the one behind that. This case is just trash. They've trashed this case with stickers, which I hate that. And I didn't even have to pay $9.99 for this because I got it during a buy two get one free sale at a store, and I believe this is the one that I got free, so I didn't even have to pay $9.99 for it. So it's pretty much a free game. And this case, and look at this. This right here is the biggest crime. Look, it's not on the case itself. This sticker right here is not on the case itself. That means they put it on the freaking artwork. I hope to God they just slid it in there, didn't actually attach it to the artwork, because yeah, you should just go to jail for that. throw them in jail. That should be a freaking crime to put stickers on the case, on the game's artwork like that. I cannot. I haven't had too many games, luckily, that have had that happen to, but man, that is disgusting whenever they do that, because you're gonna risk maybe tearing part of the art when you take the sticker off. You gotta be really careful about how you do it. So I'm gonna have to like perform an operation just to save this game. I'm just gonna have to get a whole new case because these stickers are like freaking screwed it up. But yeah, I'll deal with that later. It's not a big deal right now. I'll just deal with it later. But yeah, this is like a 3D beat 'em up made by Square. So I've seen various gameplays of this game and all that. I thought it looked pretty alright. It might be a little fun little game to play. So I just always wanted to put it on my list as a game to hopefully pick up and try one of these days. And they even wrote on the freaking disc itself, like why do they do this to video games? Why would you abuse a video game like this? And luckily the manual isn't like screwed up. That's like the only thing in here that isn't even messed up is the manual. Action figures, lunchboxes, resin stage, huh? And I wonder if any of those actually exist. I didn't even know about that. Apparently they're gonna have, they had this whole plan that they're gonna have action figures, lunchboxes, and resin statues and busts. I wonder if any of those actually exist. I've never seen any. I mean, I haven't gone on my way to look, but I've never really seen or came across any statues of any of the characters from this. So I don't know if those actually came to fruition, and I'm gonna have to look that up and see just out of pure curiosity. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, each of the three characters play kind of differently from each other, and like they're both going on like the same story, but you get like different points of view from like the characters and stuff depending on who you play as. It's pretty interesting, and also, and you always get before every fight, from what I've seen, you get to choose which character you want to play as. Hopefully you can like pause and read if you wanted to. The freaking glare right now. Freaking glare, Jesus. Flip through the manual real quick, and these are the three characters you can play as. So this guy plays this guy right here is the other character you can play as. Volt. And this guy right here. I'm convinced this guy right here is Sora's older brother. Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I'm convinced this is his older brother. I mean, look at this. It's made by Square. I mean, it's back when they were called Square Soft, but it's still Square. It's that Square Enix. So I'm telling you, man, there's a connected universe in all this. Like an alternate or like a side, universe or whatever. This dude is related to Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I'm telling you right now. He's his older brother or something. Square will make the connection one of these days. We just gotta wait for it. I'm telling you, that connection's coming. We just gotta wait for it one of these days. And the last PS2 game that I picked up is one that a lot of people consider a classic. And I'm finally glad to have it in my collection as well, is the legendary Silent Hill 3. I remember this is the Silent Hill I've always wanted to play. I found out about, I remember like Silent Hill 1. I didn't know about Silent Hill 1 like at the time it came out because I was still really young back then. But I found out about Silent Hill 2 on the PS2, and a lot of people really hold that game to high regard. And I've always seen a little bit, like just all throughout the years, seen gameplay and clips and stuff like that of Silent Hill 3, and this was always the one that caught my eye the most. This is always the Silent Hill that I've wanted to play the most out of all of them, or at least the early trilogy, because a lot of people really say the early trilogy Silent Hill games are like some of the best ones in the whole franchise. And I try to avoid looking up too much about this game because I said I always wanted to try playing it, so I haven't looked up every single little thing about this game, but I've seen enough to where I recognize some stuff of it, and I wouldn't I wanted to try playing it one of these days. Yeah, it's just something about this one in particular. This one I just always wanted to play the most. It's the same thing with like Metal Gear Solid 3. I still I'm gonna play through like Metal Gear Solid. Like I have the Metal Gear Solid collection on the PS3. I'm gonna play through like the PS1 game, then Metal Gear Solid 2, and eventually get to 3. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 was the one I've always wanted to play. So that game and this are like the number 3 games by Konami I've always wanted to play the most. Ever since they found out about them back in the PS2 era and stuff. I've always seen both of those games and seen gameplay of them, just like Silent Hill 3, but just, one reason or another, just never got around to actually playing those games at the time. So, like I said earlier, that's why I like collecting. I can finally give these games a try and see what everyone was talking about with them. Hard to hold this freaking manual with this glare with one hand. But yeah, manual's in good shape too. Everything about this game is in pretty good shape. And the disc is this. The disc has some like light scratches on it, but I tried it out, tested it out. I'll probably upload a video of that within the next couple of days of me just trying out Silent Hill 3, making sure it works. This has a couple light scratches on it, but it works, so that's always perfect. And lastly, the last game I picked up in February was Dreams. I've been seeing and hearing a whole lot about this game. I've been wanting to get it, since I found out about it, because it's made by Media Molecule, the same people that made Little Big Planet. I enjoyed the Little Big Planet games, and just the stuff I've been seeing with Dreams lately, even now that the game has come out, and I watched a couple of videos of some of the people going through some of the things that have been made in Dreams. Dude, this is incredible. This game is, the stuff you can make in this game is freaking nuts. It's crazy. Like the recreations and reproductions of like other games people have made in this, and original stuff people have made, it's freaking crazy. Like this game has like a higher and more level of like creativity and stuff than like Little Big Planet. I mean, Little Big Planet has some like high level of creativity with stuff you can do in this game, but this, what you can do in Little Big Planet, but Dreams is just like, Dreams is the next level. Dreams is like the next higher tier, like just like crazy stuff you can make. You can make first person shooters, third person, puzzle, platformer, rhythm games. It's nuts. You can make scenes, music things in it, music videos. It's stuff you can make in this game is freaking crazy. I want to start it up, but at the same time I counted up because like I'm playing some other games right now. I will start this up eventually. It's just like I feel if I start this up, I'm gonna get lost in just like playing other people's creations and trying to make creations of stuff of my own. Cause I'm definitely gonna try to see if I can make something in this. But I'm afraid I'm just gonna lose like countless hours just wanting to come back to this game all the time and play stuff and make and create stuff and all that. So it's like, man, it's tempting. I will start this at some point though, so this won't stay in the plastic forever. I really been wanting to play some of the stuff I've seen, like, you know, some of the recreations of The Last of Us. Some, you know, people like remade PS1 era type games. People even like recreated the PS1 original boot up screen in this. It's insane the stuff you can make in this game. But yeah, one of these days soon I'm gonna play Dreams, because this game has looked amazing since, you know, the moment I saw it. Alright, so that's pretty much my pickups I got throughout the month of January and February. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm Stammer there. I'm out. Please don't forget to rate and comment and subscribe. Peace.